Welcome to the Fool's Guild, where we talk about everything video games. And today we're going to be talking about the Persona franchise, continuing our JRPG discussion. Now, Perry, you have gone on the record to say that Persona 3 was not very good.
Yeah, I didn't like Persona 3 very much.
And why do you think that is?
Because of Tartarus.
Okay.
Only because of Tartarus.
Really? Just because of Tartarus?
Okay,
Nothing
no.
else?
Some of the social links weren't as good. They were very watered down.
Dang.
Like coming back from Persona 4, yeah, they weren't as good.
Okay, so talk to me about Tartarus then. What did you not like about Tartarus?
Tartarus was a hellscape that no person should ever have to deal with. All of the floors looked exactly the same, and the only difference between them was that some of them had ramps, and some of them didn't have ramps. All the shadow designs were also very lame too. Like, that's like the shadow designs for 3 was the lowest point of the series because some of them just looked like spoons and the others looked like chairs. They were so unbelievably lame to deal with.
You must not have played Persona 4 then, because it was kind of the same.
Okay, you're right there. You're right there.
And also, Tartarus had different sections, and they had a different vibe change.
They had a different color.
They did have a different color,
That
but
was
I guess it's not enough. But yeah, I personally thought Tartarus was fine. I did like how that they had a save point before every boss that would take you directly to the bottom, because I was like, dang, if I didn't have this, I'd probably throw my controller.
Yeah, because there was also that whole system where your main character, everybody in the party actually could get tired or sick.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't be able to show up to Tartarus. It was like, well, there goes my healer. What am I supposed to do now?
And it just depended on the type of day they were having, really.
Yeah, actually before. So if you were hanging out with them at a social link beforehand, you could completely ruin your Tartarus run for that night.
Yeah. No, and then, if you went to the bathroom, it'd be like, oh, I'm feeling great now.
Yeah, so he would spam going to the bathroom until your character feels better.
Uh-huh.
Or go to the creepy nurse and, take medicine.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought a lot of the mini-bosses, when you had to reach a certain floor, I felt like that was very... a lot of them were a lot harder than a lot of the full moon bosses that you had to, actually fight to progress the story.
Yes.
But they had these gimmicks that were fine to deal with. You could just cheese them at some points. But I would say overall Tartarus was very unforgiving because it's just you miss one time, or Mitsuru uses Marin Karen for the 3rd time.
Dude, yeah.
And it just completely ruins your entire run. And then Makoto, I call him Makoto, the protagonist Kun.
Oh yeah.
But he'll get down with a Moss spell. And then it's just it's over.
Yeah.
When
every character goes down, everybody's kick his ass. The shadows just know. He's the main character. Look at his hair. It's blue.
He's depressed. Kill him.
He's the most depressed character here in this game about depression. Yeah.
But yeah, I also thought, I don't know if you were against or for some of the costumes.
Oh, you mean the high leg armor? I mean, their models weren't exactly the best in game, so
I agree with you.
It's not the whole purpose of the very scantily clad armor is supposed to be eye candy, but it's Mitsuru and Yukari look like triangles, so it's not
they didn't even change the portraits. They just stayed in their school uniform. Mitsuru was okay, I guess if you want me to wear this.
Oh yeah, if you're dating her at the time, you also can date everybody in your party, all the girls at least. That was also another really weird thing that they kind of cracked down on in 4 and 5, but we can get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about the full moon bosses?
The full moon bosses, like you said before, the mini bosses in Tartarus were a lot more difficult. So when I went to go fight the full moon bosses, it was I kind of slapped them around basically a little bit. But there was one that stuck out of my mind for just being really annoying. It was the tank one where I split into 2. So you had to kill both of them in the same turn basically. Yeah. Or they'd use Samara Karm on both one or the other and to get all its health back.
Yeah.
But eventually when they started losing MP, they could only give it back to half health. But at the same time, it was just a really long process that I didn't want to have to deal with. Going okay, Junpei does 50 damage with Agi or Aguila, whatever he had at that point, and Akihiko can use like Zio Dean on him. Like, okay, do it this turn. Bam, he misses. Like, okay, the other one hits. I'm like, okay, well, that's another 10 minutes I got to deal with right there. Just really annoying.
Yeah, that was probably honestly the most difficult full moon boss for me was the lovers. I don't know what it was. I think it was just like they would CC you until you just could not do anything.
Yeah, I think that's the one with the Love Hotel, right?
The Love Hotel.
Yeah, it was funny. Didn't they also steal your party members too?
I think that's what it was. They would just like CC all your party members and like make them attack you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't control them, so I can't like prevent that at all. Yeah, and I don't know if we want to talk about the final boss yet, or if we want to save that for later.
You want to talk about some of the social links first?
Let's talk about. Let's talk just about the party members.
Okay. Who's your favorite party member? Throw that one at you.
Makoto.
Main character Kun.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of his like I forget what you called them, but they were like when you had 2 personas in the party or 3 personas.
Oh yeah, you could use like your fusion move, right?
Yeah, some sort of like combo move. Like a lot of those were so good. Like there's the one with I think Orpheus and Bavardi.
The blue lady, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever her name was, and then like they would just heal your party for half health.
Yeah, I thought that was
like an early like fusion combo or whatever.
Yeah,
so good.
That is something that Persona 3 had over Persona 4. Like that fusion move implication was a very smart thing to do. It really I felt like they were pushing the combat a little bit more as compared to like 4.
Yeah, they were definitely thinking more about the combat just to make it more interesting, because I honestly feel like there was a lot more ideas going into Tartarus, just like as like how can we make this more interesting as like a 200 floor tower, as opposed to like splitting up all the different, we can do this mechanic in this palace or whatever. Yeah, Junpei.
Oh, it's like
magician. With Io.
Yeah, it was Junpei was okay. If you played the portable version, you got a lot more information about him. Where if you can play the FemC that everybody loves so much, and like
FemC.
Yeah, when 5 came out. Oh, okay, we'll get to that later. But I really like this. Again, it suffered from the same exact problem that the Persona on PlayStation suffered from, is that you had to date everybody. So you were if you were the girl, you were dating Junpei, Akihiko, Ken. Like that was super. Ryuji,
Theo.
You were just dating everybody. I'm like, okay, you can do this, but it feels super sleazy. Like even for the guy, it still feels super sleazy. I'm like, I don't think the super depressed character would be cheating on all of his friends. Just super weird. But if I could say who was my favorite, either Ken or Akihiko, probably. Like the best ones. But you want to go into depth about Junpei's jealousy a little bit more? Because I feel like the story between him and Makoto at the very beginning of the game, like just him, Makoto, and Yukari, was like the strongest, like relationship-wise. Because he was very upfront about not liking the main character at the time. He was like, oh, Kami gets to be in charge, I'm just as good. And everybody's like, well, he has like 15 personas that he can just change from. And I'm like, you don't need to be angry here, bro. But like the main character's like, dude, I don't. He didn't even want to be the leader as the fighting part.
That's what I feel about what every protagonist has. They're just like, well, I didn't choose this, but I guess I'm just the best now. And then, there's always somebody with an inferiority complex because of that. Junpei is definitely insecure little guy. Yeah,
I think it's because he has very thin hair.
There goes my light.
Okay.
Oh well.
Okay, we'll just keep talking.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah. We can talk about Yukari. I really don't remember her that much, honestly.
Yukari. You don't remember like how mean she was, and then
she
over the course of the story she gains character development like halfway through, even though. And then then you can start like courting her and forming a relationship with her after she like works out her daddy issues.
You also had I remember you only had 3 stats in that game. You had charm, courage, and academics, and you had to max out charm before you could do
Before you even
anything
speak
with
to
her. She's like, you don't have enough charm to talk to Yukari. And I'm like, this is very shallow for somebody who's supposed to be one of my party members.
I feel like the game just made her a lot more popular than she seemed to be, because it just seemed like she was like the popular girl everyone wanted. Like, oh my gosh, you're with Yuka-chan. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. He's walking to class with Yuka-chan, bro. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, she doesn't even seem that like that popular.
Yeah.
Like, you never see her hanging out
Yeah,
with
she's
a
always
bunch
like-
of girls or
I know,
guys
right?
hitting on her or anything.
Yeah,
She's
it's
just
like-
a girl.
During the beginning of the game, she's hanging out by herself in the classroom. So I'm thinking, oh, because again, coming back from Persona 4, I'm like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with Junpei first, gonna complete his social link, and then I'll hang out with Yukari. She'll basically be like the Yukiko of the game. I'll hang out with her second. And it's like, you don't get to hang out with Junpei, you have to hang out with the other guy. I forget his name, and he's your magician social link. Can I think of his name? Kenji, yeah. And then you don't get to hang out with Yukari until like what?
Until after, I think, the second to last moon boss. Like, until like the island.
Yeah, like September or October or something. I'm like,
When
the
you're on
game's
Suru's island.
the game's basically done by that point. You only have 2 months left to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
It's lame.
yeah. That's why I like Fuka better. Fuka was like, you want to hang out? Yes, let's hang out, Fuka. Thank you. Like, the game really did.
It's like, I'm bullied all the time, and I'm also depressed.
Yeah, the game did a really good job of making you feel like you were lonely for a good portion of the game. 'Cause, like,
Especially when everyone's like in their rooms, and it's like, I don't think Yukari wants to talk.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
like-
I'm like, dang.
Like what? Like you go knock on like Akihiko's door. Like I'm being sad about my best friend right now. I'm like, come on, does nobody want to do anything?
Koromaru's like just asleep. Like, it's like nobody's available to do anything.
Yeah, it was like, oh hey, can we go to Tartarus? Like everybody like jumps out of their rooms. Like we're going to Tartarus. Like they're going to McDonald's together or something.
Yeah. If we go back to Yukari, I don't think she was that bad.
Yeah.
As bad as people make it out, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, she's a bitch."
Mhm.
Like Yukari, like, "Oh, she's just mean and doesn't like." I'm like, but I mean, like, whatever. She's like a teenage girl.
Yeah, she's what 17.
16,
So there's something
14.
Yeah, who knows? 14 will be on.
I mean,
Yeah. Who knows?
It's one of those
They're
games.
ambiguous age. They're in high school, so just leave it at that.
they're 14 to 18.
14 to 18, yeah. Hello again, buddy.
There's the light.
But yeah, Yukari wasn't that bad. Yukari, whatever you want to say her name. Yuka-chan. Yukata! But yeah.
What do you think about Mitsuru?
Ice Queen, I think, aside from, say, Fuka and the Justice social link, Chihiro, and Igus, I'd say that she was one of the stronger social links in the game because hers felt like the most that you were just hanging out with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the one event that you did where you went to like the sushi bar and like the ramen bar together, where you're teaching her like commoners etiquette basically. It's like when you're slurping the noodles, you're supposed to. That's signifies that to the chef that you're doing something he likes his food basically. And I'm like, this feels like I'm just hanging out with somebody. It doesn't like because out of everybody, Masuru has like the most stable mindset in your group.
She's definitely the most mature
Mm-hmm.
in the group. Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like you're. It was one of the few times where I didn't want to solve anybody's problems, and I didn't have to solve anybody's problems at a social link. I was like, yes, I have a friend here, basically, is what I was thinking. Not somebody to cry, who needs to cry on my shoulder every few seconds.
She's definitely the mom of the group. I wish that her social link was more focused because it seemed like it was a little all over the place.
Yes.
In terms of like, oh, I have an arranged marriage. I have to marry this guy. Because that's in every Persona game. It's like, I'm in an arranged marriage because my family hates me. And they just like the traditional marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to like, oh, we're hanging out in the library. And like, oh, we're hanging out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Just like hang out. But I'm not like getting anything of substance.
Mm-hmm.
Nor am I working towards like a romance. It's just kind of like an oh yeah. It's like, oh, you wanna go out? We'll get to that later. Anything else on Mitsuru?
Unless you want to talk about the fighting games, which we can do at a different point in time.
Maybe. I haven't played those.
Okay, but we'll go on.
About Akihiko
Akihiko,
Sanada.
the boy. protein. He's
There's
all
a lot
about
of protein.
man. He's like, I'm gonna drink this protein shake
while I get yoked.
while I'm eating all these eggs, while I'm also doing a 25K marathon, while I'm also being sad about being from an orphanage. I love Takahiko. And he was super awkward around girls too. So like being 15 playing this game at the time, like I had like being the big tall guy at the time who didn't like I'm kind of awkward around girls and everything. I'm like I like this guy.
This guy gets it.
He fucking gets it, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. We can go into the story later, but yeah, he's definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right, next.
Okay. We have Fuka.
Fuka was cough was I feel like the best if you want to get to like shipping stuff.
Oh boy. No, thank you.
Rip your hands together. Then I'm gonna skip over it. In terms of somebody who I felt would be good for your main character to again be a friend with, for somebody who they were kindred souls basically to each other, because like you were talking about earlier, from what we knew about the main character, he really didn't have any friends, or had a hard time making friends, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And Fuka was in a similar vein, is that she didn't have any friends by light, so she was.
I'm just gonna turn that off real quick.
Okay, cool. Pause.
It's like overheating. I don't know. Just having a good time.
And continuing with Fuka, in that she wasn't being alone all the time made her a very easy target for bullies. So when they came together and they just talked about all their problems and social links with each other, it actually felt like you were making some progress toward healing each other. Because for some reason with Makoto, I couldn't really. You're not really supposed to self-insert with JRPG characters, but with him, I felt like a very big disconnect between him, basically. Like, I identify with other characters more than I did with him in the game.
Yeah, okay. I definitely feel like in this one, or in the Persona franchise, you can insert yourself. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like they're definitely designed, like all the, like, 3 Persona protagonists that we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. They're definitely just very, like, bland.
Yes.
And it's like, I could, like, when you're seeing, like Makoto or Joker, you're just like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, that's me. I have dark hair and glasses, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. I definitely liked Fuka the most in the whole Seas, just because, she wasn't, like, didn't have a lot of baggage, and most of her emotional struggle just came from being bullied.
Yeah.
And the social link was honestly kind of generic again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were.
Can I cook for you? It's like, sure.
Yeah, they were kind of like sucks. Doggy paddling with the social links in this game. They were still trying to find their footing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But it definitely worked out at the end.
Yes.
Now we have Ken.
Mm-hmm. Little boy.
What the actual? Right. This is the ghost fight.
We have a ghosted here.
I'm just gonna.
Just unplug that.
I'm just gonna do it for both of them.
It comes back on.
Yeah.
Your house is actually on.
I hope so.
But for Ken, your little boy, your little brother, I feel like we need to talk about him in conjunction with another character.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who the next one is?
The axe guy. I forget his name. Shinji. There we go. Yeah, with Shinji. I completely forgot about Shinji. I'm sorry, Shinji. But I feel like a lot of his story comes with his connection with Shinji, basically, which is actually kind of a good thing because it ties into the greater plot of Persona 3.
Of course.
So I feel like with Shinji, spoilers by the way, accidentally killing his mom when they were out doing their baby C's thing, I feel like it's a very good thing that they connected their two social links with not social links, just their stories with each other. And I feel like after Shinji's death, at the same time, Akihiko is also, like, his persona evolves completely by itself. He doesn't even need you to, like, get him through his problems, which I feel like was a good thing. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with Ken when they both get over Shinji's death, like Ken not being able to kill him and also forgiving him too, and Akihiko forgiving himself for not being able to protect Ken is a good thing.
Yeah. But
again, there's not really much about him that I can really say.
He likes that one ramen place.
Yeah, that's about it.
I think he was.
He thinks Komaru was a He takes Komaru out for walks.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean everybody does, but that was like his thing.
And he does. I think he also cooks for Koromaru too.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the movie he did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about Koromaru.
Komaru wasn't even the mascot of the game, dude.
No, he wasn't.
He's
not cartoony.
Yeah, he got replaced by a robot. I guess is the mascot of Persona. Like even on the game case, she's the main focus. Yeah, it's not Komaru.
It's her.
Yeah. And in the dancing games, it would be her, Teddy, and then Morgana.
Yeah.
Like he lost to
Dancing Moonlight.
Yeah.
That just sucks.
Yeah.
No, and Koromaru's backstory is also really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like
the dog again that waited for his owner at the train station every single day. Wasn't that what he was based on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it was like he would go on a walk in the same route because that's the route his old owner used to walk with him, and it was like a priest in the shrine. That's where they found him, or they found him like kind of like attacking a person or attacking a shadow
thing.
with a
Yeah,
persona.
like imagining a dog just awakening his own persona.
Yeah,
like that was some
dog
cool
can
stuff.
summon persona.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't need you anymore. I guess we got a dog.
Here we go.
We can talk about Igus,
I guess
the Aeon.
Yeah, the 20 social link. She was good. You helped her become a person during the tsunami. If you like, again, because you're romancing everybody, she's the only one who comes to check up on your character when they're sick. And she just waits in your room just watching you. Like, this is endearing, but also kind of creepy at the same time. And I'm thinking, like...
She was, like, basically made to protect you, though.
Yeah, no, that's the weird part, too. It's like, when your main character's parents died, she was, like, on the bridge fighting shadows. It's like, man, that kid's kind of cute. Something like that. I forget the exact specifications, but, yeah. I guess it was good. She was good.
We can talk about the rest of the social links. This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
Kenji, the magician. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I have a crush on my teacher, or I'm in love with my teacher, and I'm going to ask her to marry me.
They do that better in the other games.
Yeah, when you can actually date your teacher.
Yeah.
When we did Fuka, do you want to talk about the social links, or did we already do that a little bit?
I don't think we talked about the side character social links. I don't even remember most of them.
Do you just want like the side characters then? Bunkichi, Mitsuko, the Hierophant.
The Hierophant? That's the book couple, right?
Yeah, it's the book owners.
Yeah, they were like, you look exactly like our son.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of creepy. But they were nice to hang out with. They were fun. They were just telling me like, oh yeah, our son
used to be depressed.
Yeah. What's with the young people
got
that
into a
think
car crash, and then it brought back bad memories for both people, both parties. Then it's like, okay, we're wanting to like keep this tree up, but then the school is gonna break it down to like have a new facility there, and they're like, oh, we're moving the tree. I'm like, why was I here then? Like, what am I here for?
Yeah.
And I think it's just because they thought that he was like signing a petition or getting a petition to save the tree or whatever. But Kaz.
Oh, he was
Chariot. He's the athlete.
Yeah, I was like, why? I was thinking, so like, why are chariots always related to like athletes or whatever? But that's probably like the whole tarot card thing that I don't get super into. And he was okay. Wasn't his leg like broken or something? No, his
leg was like hurting.
Yeah,
and it's like you won't be able to walk again, even though you're on the swim team.
Yeah, and it's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, don't you make like a friend? Don't you become friends with like his rival or whatever?
Yeah, you become friends with like the best athlete in I think the region, which is Mamoru, who's a star.
Oh, he was a star. Okay, I was thinking he was like the strength, but then I remember like your team manager is the strength.
Yeah, Yuko.
Yeah,
Yuko's the strength.
Do you have anything to say about her? Because I sure don't. I sure do.
That was probably one of the worst ones. I mean, it's just like she's like just trying to teach younger kids to run.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, look at them running around. And then it's like just asking her out to coffee sometimes. And that's it.
Yeah, that's the whole social link.
Which I'm fine with. Like I kind of felt like they were kind of running out of steam with a lot of the social links in this game. So I'm not gonna hold it against them. Yeah,
a good chunk of them fell flat. The only ones that I think that were memorable, I like the monk. again, that was another old person. Was like, "You're exactly like my son." I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang
It's like,
it.
why does every old person think I'm their son? Oh, because I'm just a generic
I'm
protagonist.
a
character
generic
with dark
blue
hair
hair protagonist.
and have
Can't tell me
headphones
apart.
on.
And then you would like hang out with him while he smokes cigars at the top of a club
And
and
drinks whiskey from the bottle.
Yeah.
Just like,
I was like, "Ah, McCunn, how's school going?"
never come back here, but I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Yeah, you like hung out with him on Saturdays after a while. Yeah, really super weird.
There's Chihiro. Chihiro is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like overcoming her fear of men.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. Like, I can't talk to men, but I can talk to you.
Yeah, but I can talk to you to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, what does that make me?
Sir Twinks a lot, probably. Alright, who's next?
The Hermit Maya.
Oh, your teacher.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I like.
That was actually like a teacher you got to, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Because she asked you out on a date.
I know. At the end of the game, she tries to ask you out. She's like, "No, I can't do this." Like, it's so hilarious.
I'm like, but what about it can't you do, right? It's like, is it because I'm too young or is it because you're just embarrassed? Like,
yeah. She was losing her mind. I was so angry that they didn't get a conclusion at the end of that. Like an epilogue.
I'm glad they didn't, honestly.
I was super
weird.
interested in what would happen. But, that was funny.
We have Maiko, the Hanged Man. Maiko was good because it was like about like her divorced parents. And
the little girl.
Yeah,
I
the
remember.
little girl.
Yeah.
But then it was weird when she's like, "I'm in love with you."
Yeah. Yep, I remember that. Yep. You were eating takoyaki with her dad. He was like, "Yeah, she was talking about it. She was talking about you all the line." I'm like, I'm being very uncomfortable here. Like, I'm getting secondhand uncomfortableness from this video game right now. Can you please stop talking about how much your daughter likes my character?
But yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird how like this like young girl was hanging out with a high school boy the whole time, and also hangs out with like a 20-something-year-old ghost.
Yeah, your son's social link who's like dying of cancer.
Yeah, Akinari. That was probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
That's honestly probably my favorite one in the entire series.
I feel like he represents like Persona 3's social links the most with the way that it concluded, because the whole game revolves around like accepting death and things like that. And at the very end of the game, he was able to accept his death in a very dignified way.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it makes me feel like he was probably one of the first ones that they made, just because it was like so fresh and with the whole plot and the whole story and the themes of just like death and time and living life, like, and not getting any meaning out of it until you're dead. And we just have a bunch of nobodies, like Bebe. Did you do Bebe?
Your French friend?
Your French friend who was like, he had ambiguous sexuality, and
you just taught him about Japanese culture.
Yeah, he just became a weeb, and then he wanted to show something to his like uncle or something, and he's like, "Look, I'm not useless.
Yeah.
I made a kimono."
Yeah, most of those social links were just a blur.
Mamoru.
Who was that again? Was it the Gourmet King?
No, he was the athlete, the star athlete.
He was poor. I remember that.
Yeah, he was poor. He was trying to help his mom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the social links. I feel like they're not like reused exactly, but I feel like there's definitely more, or there's definitely like shared plots and themes between a lot of them.
Yeah.
Izumi, who was the Gourmet King cook.
I just remember him being a dick.
Yeah, he's just kind of unredeemable, and you never get any chance to just like throw it back in his face and like reject him. You always have to defend him. And I was like, where's my option to say no and like
be a better person?
Yeah. But I guess it's like it was trying to go along with the thing where it's like you have to say what they want you to say to like deepen your bond.
Yeah,
which I'm like, that's kind of dumb.
That is not good.
And then we had Tanaka. I thought it was pretty good.
I like Tanaka. His whole thing was exploiting you, basically, until the end of where he donates to like a hospital or just like some children's fund, basically.
Yeah, he starts like some sort of organization to teach kids about business. So it doesn't like end up the way like he was back in his like just to help less fortunate kids, which I thought was okay.
I thought that was a good devil like social link.
A dark web overlord in the next game. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't know why he's here. Then we have Aegis.
I guess it's good. Yeah, we talked about her.
Oh, I forgot to say that, like, I don't know if you knew this, but you can visit, like, Tanaka on the last day of that you're, like, supposed to go to Tartarus.
Yeah.
And just skip the end of Tartarus.
Really?
Like, you can start his social link or you can end his social link because you have access to Polonium Mall. And you can just start the link and you'll spend time with him the night you're supposed to be going to, like, Tartarus and, like, fighting Nyx. And it just goes to graduation day. And I'm like,
that's a glitch in the game, I'm assuming.
it is.
Interesting.
Sure. But I think it's like, some interaction between like spending the night and then also like I don't know how Tartarus works.
Yeah, however Tartarus works, yeah.
So the story, do you like the story?
I feel like the story was serviceable because of the way that, like I was saying before, they did some of the social links with the guys in the group, at least. I feel like the biggest failing for 4 and 5 is that nobody is allowed to really grow outside of your character unless they're like there to help out and participate with what's going on, basically. And then in 3, like I said before, Ken is able to grow, Akihiko is able to grow, Junpei is able to grow without your main character being like, hey, it's okay, but like giving them a pat on the back. They're like, I'm gonna find my own resolve of all my persona by myself and I'm gonna help out my own way. And then it comes back to being like, say Junpei not being so jealous all the time and like that, and just the whole theme of the game with what was his name, Ryoji. Yeah, so many similar names.
There's a lot of similar names
with Ryoji being Pharaohs and being Nyx at the same time. I feel like that was good because
he's like an avatar of Nyx.
He's like, I want to spend time with the humans before I completely decimate all of them. I'm thinking that's cool.
Yeah. I didn't really. I just thought it was a lot of confusing. There was a lot of confusing points because there was just like a lot of different stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the shadows, and you have the full moon bosses, and they're each like a shard of Nyx, and you have to kill them, and then it like. Killing all of them sets Nyx free somehow, and then Nyx can manifest itself into Ryoji, and then Ryoji has to like fight Aegis and kill Makoto or something.
Yeah.
And then like Aegis is like, this boy, like I was fighting this thing when your parents died, and then it was like it found a host in you.
Yeah,
like,
that's how you can be the wild card. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and then the leader, the former leader, like what was his name? Akutsuki. Yeah, the long-haired guy.
Shuji.
Like his whole thing was, I was tricking you the whole time because I just really want to die.
Yeah, and then like we need to usher in a new like god. So it's like we need to bring death upon the world. And I was like, bro.
Yeah, and then what was the other group's name?
Strega. Yeah, they're like a glorified Team Rocket.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything.
I mean, they just kind of showed up and got their asses kicked every single time.
They did start that cult though, which I was like, oh, they're getting everyone hyped for the end. Okay.
Like death. Imagine if on your way to Tartarus, they just had a bunch of other people who were just like, boo, like WWE, like the season, like trying, you know, like let's say like Randy Orton just like walking down, like was like, you suck, like they were saying that to Seize the whole time, and they were like, go Strega.
Like Nyx was like trash talking, like The Rock.
But I kind of like June a little bit, only because of his dialogue options, where if you get everybody's ultimate personas in the party, and then you also protect your weaknesses, he has a lot of extra dialogue in there, where he says, you couldn't defeat your weaknesses, so you chose to block them or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, no, we were able to overcome our weaknesses. That's why we're able to do this. So
yeah,
it shows how the two different sides are, well, different, obviously, and how June and Strega and the pseudo-Jesus guy, I forget his name, are very two different opposing groups. Of how Strega is just missing a lot of pieces about being able to understand the whole theme of the game, basically.
Yeah.
It's like they're death worshippers, and
they're waiting for death instead of like living your life.
Yes,
this is a big contrast. What did you think about the end? The ending of the game.
The ending of the game. I liked what they did with all of your social links because they do this every single time.
Yeah.
Giving you a little bit more power to CO Nix essentially, and what your character does, like the little number one thing at the very end, like he does have emotions finally at the very end, and then you fast forward through graduation, you go talk to everybody, and then you're like dying, and I guess is left at the end of the game. Yeah, she's like, "Don't worry, I will protect you."
He's like, "I finally found the meaning of life. It can be to protect a person."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
And like, I sleep. No, I sleep me. Yeah.
And then it's like, in the answer, it's like, yeah, actually, all of that was for nothing. Yeah. So we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about the answer. The answer was super duper long. Was Tartarus for like 30 hours. I'm like, I'm not. I'll go watch a YouTube video where it shows all the plot points because I'm not doing this.
Yeah, apparently it was really hard.
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
Yeah, like shit without me say hard. Yeah.
And there's another I guess.
Yeah, Metis. Well, okay, wait, no, we're not talking about it.
Okay, the music.
The music. And then they get to the rap lyrics, and I don't know the rap lyrics, but Festival or Fez or however you want to describe it,
Fez.
That opening was a banger. I absolutely love it.
Fez opening.
Yeah, I was like, I will never leave you. It's like the beat drops like, if you want to battle, then I take it to the street where the rules take off the rules. Ref, please sit down and gotta show my moves again. Like that was freaking hype. I loved it. I even learned the lyrics. I loved it that much. And like everybody's just like flat. It's like showing you all the snippets from the game, basically spoiling it like every anime opening ever. But it was still very good.
The ending is like, okay.
Yeah. It was very, I love the opening. I think that was aside from Persona 5, I think that was the strongest opening.
The Fest?
Yeah, Fest. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Okay. I liked Burn My Dread.
Burn My Dread was good. Just as a tangent, just talking about like the beginning of the game when Makoto's like coming into town and Yukari's like about to shoot herself with the C. So I'm like, am I about to lose one of my main characters like that immediately? But yeah, it had a very strong opening. Yeah, Persona 3 had a very good opening. Even though some of the meat of the game was rancid, it was still very good. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about like the musical opening.
Oh, the musical opening, my bad. Yeah, Burn My Dread was good. I liked it.
What Did I Dorm? It's one of my favorite songs in the whole franchise. It's like a...
Oh yeah. It's like, dance while I put you in a trance. Yeah. Throw it in the garbage. It had a very memorable soundtrack, which made even going through Tartarus kind of worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something about just like the whole, I don't know. It's almost like a nostalgic thing for the 90s, but it's like I wasn't like a kid in the 90s. I mean, I was a little bit, but I'm like on the tail end of that. So I don't know. And there was When Moon's Reaching on Stars. That's my like other favorite song from that, and that's like when you're like dismissed for class, and it's like I never felt like so
oh yeah, when you're like just hanging out at Iwatani School, is that what it's called?
Gekukan High.
Gekukan High, yeah.
And then the Watedai Mall or Poloni Mall. And yeah, you're just like running around in circles.
Yeah, or if you like pause long enough, he will put his hands in his pockets and start ringing up. But like that, like this guy's the biggest dork ever. I love him.
That's all I have. Anything else you want to talk about? P3
for
P3P maybe. FMC.
That made everybody fall in love with the FMC. And do you know a quick pop culture reference? You know Billy and Mandy. You know Jeff the Spider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Atlas is Billy and Jeff is the FemC, where they say, she's like, I can be anything you want me to be, please just love me like I want you to be dead, because everybody, like on forums, like in Persona 4, like, hey, can we play as a girl? Persona 5, they're like, Samire, hey, they're like, oh my god, we can play as a girl, I can date Ryuji. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's cool.
Yeah. Did you hear about there's one really cool conspiracy that's like FemC and the main character are actually brothers and sisters. And when you choose, like between whether you want to be a girl or a guy, you choose which of the siblings dies in the car crash.
And portable?
Yeah, in P3P.
Yeah, if they explored that more, I feel like that's a cool thing. Because I want to say like there's some weird thing where you get like glances of the other one and like depending on the storyline or whatever. Yeah, and then in the opening, it's called Soul Phrase. I really like that one too. Soul Phrase was really good. It was like, as I feel alive, dude, I love Persona 3's music. It was
Persona 3's music.
Like, that was
they're all really good.
Like, they're all the soundtracks are really good, but I remember the lyrics to like a good chunk of the Persona 3 ones. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, it had a very interesting effect where if you held up your PSP one way, you get like the boy version. You held up the other way, you get the girl version of like what's going on. Yeah. It was very simple aesthetic basically. It's like on the guy side, where if you're just holding up like the normal way, like you see Fuka running around the background a lot. And then if you flip it around, you see Ibis like doing stuff in the background, but they're mirror images of each other. Yeah. So they're doing the exact same like thing. Like say one covered their eye, the other was covering their eye, but one of them was like walking up the stairs, the other one's walking up the stairs. But yeah, they distinctly had Fuka being blue, which I'm assuming is for a guy, and then Ibis being pink, which is for a girl. It was a very cool little thing that they did.
It's cool. Except like, you know, the rest of the game was
then everything else was like, Gourmet King, get him out of here.
That's all I have for Persona 3.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the dancing game?
No.
Oh, I also was looking at like Persona Q2, just like just to watch it, just for content. And then there was like one scene where FemC and Makoto actually meet, and they recognize each other, but I don't actually know what transpires there, so
yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
It was basically the Persona Q games are fan service. The game mainly, just to see people interact with each other. Like,
gosh, like there's Kanji and Morgana, they're hugging with that.
Yeah, or like Naoto and Akechi being like the two detective princes, and they have like a wits off or something. I'm like, this is cool, but they did need to do it twice.
Well, they're gonna do it again.
When Persona 6 comes out,
they're probably gonna do it more than just again. It'll be P3 meets P6, P4 meets P1.
Yeah.
Like once they remake the P1 game.
It's like every group has at least 10 members. That's 40 characters just hanging out. Like in Fire Emblem, basically. Yeah. Except you have to have a meaningful interaction between, like, say, Kanji and Mitsuru, of all people. And I'm like, what are they going to do here? Like, I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm not going to pay $40 to see it.
Elizabeth talking with, like Ryuji. It's like, what is going on?
I'm like, I don't care about this.
Yeah. Oh, that's something we didn't talk about. It's like the Velvet Room.
Oh, yeah, the Velvet Room attendees. How Igor keeps making them... Oh yeah. It's like you can't get away with it this time, main character. You were Persona 3 MC was with Elizabeth, and then he was like, no, you can't do anything with this one. I made it older this time. He's like, okay, I can't do the horizontal tango with you, but I can give you a big kiss. And then a Persona 5 was like, these are underage, but you can't do anything.
It's like, but actually they're just separated. And you put them back together.
Dude. Yeah. And then the fan art is joke.
Don't even talk about the fan art.
It's awful. But,
all right.
But Elizabeth was cool. She was pretty much the inverse of your main character, where she was super happy and peppy all the time.
She was quirky, ready to live life.
Yeah, she was the most quirky of the Velvet siblings. Yeah,
I think she's probably one of the funniest characters in the whole game.
She does.
In the whole franchise.
Yeah, you have that social link where she just dumps all of the money into the
fountain.
Yeah. Because she's like, so I get a bunch of wishes now, right? And I'm like, yes, you do. I couldn't bring down her spirit in this game where she was one of the very few lights at the end of the tunnel where everybody else is like, I'm sad. She's like, yeah, let's go to the playground and slide or something.
I wouldn't have minded just dying in her lap, honestly. I'm like, who's Aegis?
You know, and again, from Portable, you can actually choose whose lap you get to die in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like Yukari, you can Yukari, Fuka, even Chihiro. And then for the guys, it's like, you can die in Ken's lap.
You can die in Shinji's lap.
You can die in.
He comes back.
Yeah, that's also a very cool thing that they did. It's like, oh, for some reason the bullet missed his heart. Now he's just in a coma. I'm like, well, I wish I could use him, but whatever.
Did you play P3 Fest?
Yeah, that's the one I own.
Okay, so you know like the Chidori thing?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the Chidori thing?
I liked her relationship with Junpei. I think, again, it was another moment where he got to grow outside of the main character being there.
He actually got, he got a girl.
Yeah, he got development. I mean, she died, but hey, he still had the relationship there. And he was, I guess we didn't talk about, quote unquote, some of the more dark themes of Persona 3, where she was actually self-harming to make her paintings and everything. Everybody's like, oh, these paintings are fucking rad. And but then Junpei comes in, it's like she's like pricking her fingers, or I think even imply slitting her wrist basically to make the paintings. He's like, no, you gotta stop doing this. She's like, what, the art? And I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, I like art. That's a little bit too far though. Yeah, but you gotta stop this. And I'm like, Junpei being a very good guy, using everything that he's learned over the course of the game to help out this person. And that was one of the very few moments where it was like, because you know how they say in storytelling, everybody is the main character of their own story, even though we're following, say, MC-kun, basically.
Yeah.
That was one of the moments where I felt like, yes, Junpei is taking charge of his life, basically, which, again, is what the whole game is about. It was very good at doing that.
Yeah. Did you know that, you can save Chidori?
Fully?
Yeah.
After Strago loses, she still lives?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There's a moment or there are several moments where Junpei's just chilling out at the dorm, and you're like, go visit Chidori in the hospital. And he's like, you know what? I'll probably go visit Chidori in the hospital. And then he goes to visit her, and there are different cutscenes, and I think it's just Fest. But once you complete just seeing her, I think 5 or 6 times or something, she transfers she shows Junpei that she can heal people. And she heals these dead flowers on the table. And so at the end of the game, basically what happens is that she sealed her life force in the flowers, and so she regains her life force from those flowers and lives.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
It's fine. I think a lot of people hate that.
Yeah.
They're but this just detracts from Junpei's story.
Yeah, that's fair.
He has to live for her now, but now he gets her.
Yeah, because I was thinking, because I looked at a little bit of the fighting games, I want to say Junpei, if you play his story, he brings up Chidori a couple of times, but I think they left it purposely ambiguous because of the whole detraction from if she lives or if she dies, or if you didn't play Fest. Yeah. But I still liked his story with her. It was good.
It was good.
Yes.
It was fine.
Yeah.